Says, young Midoriya, you're enraged. You sure you don't want to make any half-cocked decisions? Deku says, I've already made my decision. Sign me up. The doctor says, fair enough. Goes to the desk and says, now, you're gonna be comatose for possibly a few weeks after the surgery. So, you might expect something special, but not really. Deku says, as long as I'm able to move, I don't care. And perform tasks, also. The doctor says, you'll be able to do both of those. And a great proficiency, too. I'll make sure of it, as he presses the button. Deku's out. Again. This time there happens to be no dreams. Well, I mean, there are dreams, but you know, the normal ones that you forget literally seconds after waking up. God, I hate that shit. Anyways. Yeah, fuck. Can't think. After the 3 weeks of comatose, he finally wakes up. But he still can't feel his body. He lifts his head up, looks around. Seems to be in a warehouse somewhere. This confuses Deku. And he takes a look at his body. It's not his own anymore. It's an exoskeleton of metal and technology. Technology he's definitely never seen before. He tries to say, what the heck is this? But it comes out all kind of distorted and robotic. Deku just starts struggling, just trying to rip away from whatever is holding him down, which he does so easily. He falls over. He tries standing up, gaining balance, but he keeps falling. The doctor walks in and says, Izuku Midoriya, please calm down. I haven't attached the nerves of your brain to the exoskeleton yet. You need to calm down. Deku, being completely confused, he says in his robotic, distorted voice, I can't stand properly. Why not? The doctor says, you need your neural system hooked up to the exoskeleton before you can properly begin to gain balance. Deku says, I do not understand a single word you said, but whatever. He gets put back on the table. Spends the next few hours painstaking and actually very painfully putting all of his nerves into the exoskeleton. Now Deku definitely has a feel for the body. Definitely now feels a little more natural to him. Not exactly the same, but a little more natural. The doctor helps him off the table and says, "Alright, young man, can you stand?" Deku looks around and says, "Yeah." In his robotic voice, he says, "Yeah. Definitely feel like I have a lot more balance now." Spends the next 3 days learning to walk, run, and, well, given with his feet now, he can now walk up walls. You know, like the 2003 animation of Grievous. You know, the cool one? Yeah. It's kind of what he looks like. The doctor says that his organs are actually inside the suit itself, so he still has to be careful. So he still has to eat, breathe, and drink water. But during the surgery, the doctor admits he had a little screw up with the voice box. He had to use an electronic, which Deku doesn't fully appreciate. I mean, no one would really, but I mean, hey, sound like General Grievous for a day. Sign me up. I mean, just for a day, not for the rest of my life. That shit will get annoying. And, well, the doctor says Izuku Midoriya. Izuku turns around after, kind of playing around with the body for a minute. Looks over at the doctor. The doctor takes off the lab coat. He's wearing the suit. Basically reveals that it's all for one. I never did tell you my name, young man. Deku asks. And, oh yeah, what would that be? The doctor says, all for one. Now, bit of a time skip here. About the middle of, like, 9th grade, end of middle school. It's the end of middle school. Kacchan survived the explosion. So did Katsuki's mom's car, and so did Katsuki's mom. I don't really know Katsuki's mom's name, or really even care to find out as of right now. Katsuki is just going through school. He's become more of a loner, more of a lone wolf. But all the school bullies, they know better. They know not to mess with this guy. Because they know that this guy is dangerous, very dangerous. the end of school. On his way home one day, and most of the time after school he walks home, but he always takes a particular route. He always goes and looks at the leveled block which his old friend used to live on. And he decides to take a shortcut today, under a very particular bridge. As he's passing under the bridge, he hears a noise. Kachan snaps his head to the noise, notices the sludge villain. Kachan keeps a hardened, angry eye on this thing as he walks by. At the last second, before he leaves under the bridge, the sludge villain tries to attack. And literally, almost just out of pure hatred of villains all by itself, Kachan, to Kachan levels, basically detonates the equivalent of a thermonuclear explosion. Definitely getting All Might's attention. Severely harmed, the sludge villain. All Might drops in I am here, and sees the sludge villain over there, and up there. All Might's like, oh, wow, well, looks at Kachan. Smoke and steam rising from his hands. Kind of just feels his arms for any breaks. Shakes it off, keeps walking. All Might wanted to ask him a few questions, but Kachan just ignored him. Kept going. Goes, looks at the wreckage, has his breakdown for the day, and goes home. All throughout the 12 weeks, Deku is, still training with his body, figure out certain attachments and whatnots. Kachan's training his physical body and his quirk. And, Mirio ends up with One for All. Because, if I gave it to Kachan, that would just be overpowered as all hell. That thermonuclear explosion comment I made just earlier? Yeah, he would be a thermonuclear explosion, without a doubt. Anyways, all throughout the 12 weeks of training, Kachan gets stronger. Deku picks up more skill with his robotic body. And he's even taken on the name, not General, but he's just taken on the name Grievous. Because of everything he's lost. Or so he thought. The day of the entrance exam. Grievous decides to go watch. From a distance, but watch. But unfortunately, he will be too far to notice Kachan. I mean, way too far. I mean, he'll definitely see the 0-pointer, but not Kachan. He watches them all enter. Hears all the explosions and noises that the quarks make and what the robots make when they're getting just completely destroyed. You know, having a peaceful day. Sees the 0-pointer. Somehow it... Well, yeah. After seeing the 0-pointer for like 15, 20 seconds, 25, 30, somewhere in that time span, it gets knocked down. Even Grievous is a little surprised by this. He's like, well then, that's a first. Anyways, the match is over. Deku gets back to the bar before anyone else notices. No. Anyways. God, I can't think. I hadn't even had coffee yet. It's like 6:30 in the morning. Yeah. Anyways. Yeah, time skip a little bit here. Now, the first time Grievous is ever noticed by Class 1A would be at the USJ. You know, after Grievous has had the full training and everything. Anyways, Kachan actually sees a good opportunity out of this rescue. The one thing he could not fully complete that day. But on his shoulder, actually legally done, he has a tattoo. A memorial for Deku. And, well, it's quite the memorial. The name looks like it was done in perfect penmanship. The symbol behind it, well, is an Anarchy A. Because Kachan, you know, likes to do crazy. Go full out. Like those guys in Mad Max. Which really, actually, anarchy is abolishment of all hierarchy. Don't ever get that confused. Kachan's looking around, nodding his head in approval, thinking, This will definitely help me train to save people. But dark portals start opening up, and a whole bunch of people start walking through. Kachan just blurts to 13. Hey, Spacetronaut. What are these extras doing here? 13 turns around and looks. She says, Aizawa, call the pro heroes now. Anyways, I'm actually going to end it here because I've got heavy-footed siblings upstairs stomping around. Gotta go make sure they're not making a mess in my house. Anyways, I'll probably be coming out with part 4 later today, I think. I can't make any promises, but I'll see what I can do.